All the lessons in this module will be aimed at healing the gut. It's important to understand how the digestive system works before doing this type of a program. On the last video, you learned how to make your mouth microbiome healthier. Again, watch these PowerPoints as often as you need to really get what they're about. I'll try to keep them so that they're not so technical, but there will be a word here and there that you have to learn. I'll keep them between 5 and 10 minutes. I know that most of you don't have a lot of time, so let's start with reviewing why chewing is so important. You learned about chewing in the last video. Here's the recap. The pace of the chewing sets the rhythm for the rest of the digestive process. Chewing at the proper rate gives the stomach time to tell the brain that food is arriving and what food types is coming. More importantly, saliva contains leptin, which decreases appetite, and ghrelin, which increases appetite. These hormones signal the brain to regulate eating. Saliva is also a major source of enzyme to digest the carbohydrates. Saliva works in an alkaline pH, so in your mouth, not in your stomach, but then it works again in your intestine. Saliva contains bacteria, but it also contains antibodies and antimicrobial compounds that protect you from the bad bacteria that you might have ingested. Once the food is swallowed and out of the mouth, it stays in the GI tract until it's ready to be absorbed or eliminated. It has to go through processes for that to happen. Like every piece of food has to be broken down to its simplest form. Along the GI tract, we have a cell wall that stops anything too big from getting through to your blood. The digestive process has 6 essential activities. You have ingestion, propulsion, mechanical breakdown, absorption, defecation. Ingestion is when you eat, so taking in the food. It then goes to propulsion, which is the swallowing, and the peristalsis. Peristalsis is the movement your digestive system uses to guide the food down. This work is done by muscles. They're called smooth muscles. There are muscles all throughout the digestive system. Then you have mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the breakdown of the food, so the chewing, and then the churning in the stomach, and finally the small intestine breaks it down even further. Absorption happens throughout most of the digestive system. The nutrients enter the blood vessels and are dispersed throughout the body. And finally, defecation. Anything that the body doesn't use is eliminated, including chemicals, fibers, hormones, and even dead bacteria. As a matter of fact, about half of your stool is composed of dead bacteria. So I mentioned a protective cell wall a couple of slides ago. This cell wall is protected by mucosal juices. The mucosal barrier is found throughout the whole digestive system, but in the stomach, it prevents the acid from burning through the lining. This acid is for digesting proteins, and the stomach lining is made of protein, so it really has to be protected. The mucosal barrier is a thick layer of bicarbonate mucus. Cells line the digestive system. Between each cell is what's called a tight junction. The cells are so tight together that pathogens cannot get through. Damaged cells are quickly replaced by stem cell division. The surface cells are replaced every 3 to 6 days. In this picture, you can see where one of the tight junctions is compromised and pathogens are getting through. So back to the stomach. Gastritis in the stomach is inflammation caused by anything that breaks the mucosal barrier. It usually starts when the stomach lining doesn't have enough of this mucus layer. This can lead to ulcers or erosion of the stomach wall. These problems can be caused by different things. It can be caused by bacteria like H. pylori. H. pylori is what causes ulcers. It can also be caused by non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin or ibuprofen. It can even be caused by stress. Who would have thought stress can make holes in your stomach? That being said, we need good amounts of stomach acid for good digestion of protein, so we need to keep our stomach wall barrier nice and thick. The body makes up to 3 liters of gastric juices in a day, so mainly hydrochloric acid. We have a nerve called the vagus nerve that carries messages to the brain from the stomach and to the stomach from the brain. So just think Las Vegas. It's called the vagus nerve. The brain sends a message to the stomach that food is coming, which stimulates hydrochloric acid production. We also have a hormone called gastrin. Gastrin increases hydrochloric acid. Once the food passes the stomach and goes into the small intestine, hydrochloric acid must be neutralized so that it doesn't burn your intestine. And that's done through bicarbonate compounds. The food is now back into an alkaline region where the digestive enzyme amylase can work again to continue digesting your carbohydrates. All right, let's talk about things that lower hydrochloric acid production. High stress tends to reduce the production of stomach acid. Aging is a strong factor. As you age, you have less and less of this stomach acid. Your stomach may start producing less acid after stomach surgery. So you can imagine what a stomach bypass does to your protein digestion. Taking antacids and other medications for digestive problems will lead to low stomach acid levels. A diet that's high in sugar can also lower your stomach acid. So, as you can see, at least half the population may not have enough hydrochloric acid to have good digestion. Symptoms of low stomach acid. So what do you feel when you don't have enough stomach acid? Heartburn is one of them. Believe it or not, most people are diagnosed with too much acid when in fact they have too little. This causes heartburn and reflux. Second one is trouble digesting meat. People with low stomach acid levels struggle to digest meat and other protein foods. This may be why they feel tired, dizzy, or nauseous after eating meat. Gas and bloating after eating. Food allergies and intolerances. Nutritional deficiencies. You're not absorbing the nutrients out of the foods properly. Skin problems such as acne. Unfortunately, low stomach acid leads to excessive bacteria growth, which can cause skin issues. This explains why 40% of people with acne have also low stomach acid. This is according to research. Leaky gut syndrome. People are prone to get leaky gut syndrome when stomach acid levels are low because their body will accumulate bacteria and toxins. Undigested food and stool, especially protein foods. Hair loss in women. Diarrhea or constipation. Again, this has to do with the overgrowth of bad bacteria. Stomach acid kills invaders before they can pass through. So if a person has low stomach acid, they probably have an overgrowth of bad bacteria and yeast. So how to test if you have enough hydrochloric acid? So you buy a bottle of supplemental hydrochloric acid, take 1 before a meal. If you don't feel any burning sensation, take 2 before the next meal. Keep adding 1 at every meal until you can feel a burning sensation. Once you reach that point, dilute it by drinking a bunch of water. At the next meal, go down 1 tablet and keep it there until you feel burning again, and then lower it by 1 tablet, and so on. So thank you. I'll continue digestion in the next set of slides. Please watch these as many times as you need to be familiar with the words and the processes. It's really important to understand why we do what we do for good health. When you know why, it's easier to stay focused on the process and the outcome of eating for good health. I'll see you on the next one.